A very warm welcome. You're watching CNN News 18 Global. I'm Akanksha Swaroop. The U.S. task force against Houthi attacks is our top focus. Now, after weeks of relentless attacks by Yemen's Houthis on ships linked to Israel in the Red Sea, the U.S. has now formed a maritime coalition to counter attacks by the rebel group of Houthis. However, Houthis remain unwavered. Soon after the announcement of a new protection force, a spokesperson for their group said, and let me quote, "Even if America succeeds in mobilizing the entire world, our military operations will not stop." The response comes after U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin announced the task force comprising Bahrain, Canada, France, Italy, United Kingdom, and others who've also joined the 10-nation security initiative. The multinational force is a result of multiple Houthi attacks that have forced shipping lines to suspend operations in the Red Sea. Iran-linked Houthis have now waged attacks on more than a dozen commercial ships using drone and missiles on ships that have alleged to have links with Israel. The Houthis have vowed to not only halt their attacks when, in fact, they say that they will only halt their attacks when Israel's war crimes begin to stop in Gaza. Remember, Houthis are an Iranian-backed proxy group that is currently directing all the attack on Israel because of the ongoing war in Gaza. On that note, let's also listen into what the U.S. Defense Secretary had to say.
But the lifeblood of the rules-based international order is actually seawater. All countries have the right to move freely and lawfully in international waters. But that foundational global right is under new threat today from the totally unacceptable attacks on merchant vessels by the Houthis in Yemen. So this morning, we've launched Operation Prosperity Guardian under the umbrella of Combined Maritime Forces and under the leadership of Task Force 153. That operation is bringing together more than a dozen countries from around the world to conduct joint patrols in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden.
What I think is necessary in the Red Sea is to make sure that shipping can keep moving, can keep delivering oil, can keep delivering goods. And so this maritime task force that is being set up is looking for partners to help to allow that to happen. And Britain is going to be one of those partners, and I think Italy is going to be one of those partners too. For ourselves, we'll be lending some of our ships to that task. And I think it's very important that there's a very clear message to the Houthis in Yemen who've been launching all these attacks that, these attacks will not be tolerated and we will defend ourselves against them, and it's very important that shipping keeps moving.
Attacks by the Yemeni Houthi militant group on ships in the Red Sea are forcing freight firms to reroute in order to avoid the Suez Canal. This video was released by the Houthis on November 20th, showing armed men dropping from a helicopter and seizing a cargo ship in the southern Red Sea. The latest attacks came Monday, when the Houthis said drones were launched against 2 cargo vessels in the area. The Iran-aligned Houthi said the attacks are a response to Israel's assault on the Gaza Strip, which Israel launched after the October 7 rampage by Hamas militants. The situation has prompted the United States and its allies to create a multinational operation to conduct joint patrols in the southern Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. In Israel on Monday, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said no group or state should test America's resolve.
In the Red Sea, we're leading a multinational maritime task force to uphold the bedrock principle of freedom of navigation. Iran's support for Houthi attacks on commercial vessels must stop.
The attacks have showed the ability of Middle Eastern paramilitary forces backed by Iran to upset global trade. Several major freight companies have begun sailing around Africa due to the danger, and there are signs the crisis is broadening to include energy shipments. The rerouting adds costs and delays, which industry analysts expect to be compounded over the coming weeks. While freight rates will likely increase on the longer voyages, The head of global freight platform Freightos said it is unlikely that rates will spike to the level seen during the pandemic. About 15% of world traffic transits via the Suez Canal, the shortest shipping route between Europe and Asia.